Hey everyone, it's me, Kevin here, or the Card Master, and I'm going to be doing a deck tech today on Darkrai Hammers, or Darkrai Sableye Hammer deck, Hammer Time, whatever you want to call it. I played this deck for the first 2 weeks of City Championships, and 3 events actually. I came first, top 4, and top 8 at them. The one I top 4'd in, I lost to the Mirror, which, you can't do much about that. And the one I came top 8 in, I actually had a decklist error, so I had to switch out my hammers and Biancas for basic energies, which sucked, and that probably cost me the tournament, but whatever. I feel like the decks performed insanely well. Like, my other friends that have played it and people who played similar decks have done pretty well with it, so let's get on to it. This time I'm trying something a bit different, is I'll give you a skeleton list first. I'm going to lay out all the key parts of the deck that you need to play no matter what you want to do with the deck. And then after that, there's like 7 slots, I think, and I'll talk about the options for what you want to finish off the deck with. But let's get into it. I'll start off with the Pokemon. It's 3 Sableye, 3 Darkrai are the minimums. These are the main Pokemon. Sableye, Junk Hunt, gets 2 items back. It's really good to use turn 1 and 2. And late game, sometimes you need to use it to get your finishing cards like catchers or whatever. Overall, just a really good starter. Confusion Ray is also a fine attack. Darkrai, it's just an insane attacker right now. Like 3 for 90 and then 30 snipe. It's pretty good right now. Gives stuff for your retreat. It's probably one of the strongest attackers right now. Not much to say. 3/3 is the minimum you want to play. Depending on what you want to do with the deck, you might add one of something else or add the Pokemon, but I'll talk about that later. Moving on to supporters, I got 4 and 4 Juniper, 2 Bianca, and 2 Random Receivers. I think this is a minimum. 4 and 4 Bianca is they're standard in every deck in the format right now or something. Bianca's, it's the next best draw card after these two. There's Cheren also, but Cheren's draw 3. Bianca's usually a draw 3 at minimum, if not more, especially when you get end to 1 or 2 cards. Bianca's usually good. Random Receiver, it's good in this deck because Junk Hunt can get it back, so you can Random Receiver for supporter, use it if you don't get another supporter off your supporter, then you can Junk Hunt to get a Random Receiver back. It's value. This is 12 supporters. This is the minimum you can play. You might want to add more. I'll talk about adding more and stuff later, but definitely minimum is 12 supporters, and I think that's almost every deck in the format right now. Next, we have our 4 out for trainers, which 4 Catcher, 4 Ultra Ball, 4 Dark Patch, and 4 Crushing Hammer. So first off, 4 Ultra Ball, basic, it searches for Pokemon. The skeleton list only has Darkrai and Sableye. You could change that with Pokemon. It also just discards energies, so you can Dark Patch them back. Dark Patch lets you get turn 2 Night Spirit and stuff. You've ways to discard it with Ultra Ball and Junipers and stuff like that. You usually can get Darks in the discard turn 1 and 2. So this is what makes it possible for turn 2 Night Spears. Crushing Hammers, it's the namesake of the deck. It's a pretty good card. The whole point is you're supposed to be applying early pressure with Night Spears, turn 2 or something, and you're supposed to be keeping them from doing what they want with Crushing Hammer. It's good against almost every deck. Even Eels decks, if they're playing Rayquaza Eels, you get rid of their fire energies, was important. You play against Blastoise, you try to slow it down so they have to commit more energy onto the board of one thing, so they don't get too much into play. Against fighting decks, or the colorless fighting decks with double colors, Tornadus, Tracheon, whatever those decks are, they have no acceleration, so if you just keep on abusing Crushing Hammer with Junk Hunt, it's pretty good against that. Mirrors, you try to slow each other down. Usually comes down to whoever gets better hammer flips and stuff. But, overall, really good card. Lastly, Pokemon Catcher, it's just a staple in the format, and pretty insane. So, yeah, that's trainers. That's the super staple trainers. You want 4 of those, because you want to hit them early and often. Next are these, which I think they're not as staple, but they're pretty good. 2 Eviolites, I think that's the minimum you want for tools, but you probably want to add more. Just really strong card, turns Darkrai mirrors 2 shots to 3 shots. Potions kind of has the same thing as Eviolite, supposed to heal you. It changes the math, so 2 shots become 3 shots, stuff like that. It's really good against like Hammerhead. You use Negate it if they do it to Darkrai and stuff. One Tool Scrapper is just needed to deal with, like I said, Darkrai mirrors against fighting decks. Just general answer. And then 3 Energy Switch this is good for getting turn 2 Night Spears, because like say you go turn 1 Junk Hunt with Sableye, and then turn 2 you go like attach a Dark to Darkrai, Dark Patch to Darkrai, and then retreat and Energy Switch. That's a really viable thing. Also, just to switch energies from damaged Darkrai's to fresh Darkrai's, stuff like that. There's a lot of interactions where it's cool, but especially if you're like, you can also like if you play like Tracheon or add fighting to the deck or add another type, it also sets that up too, where you can play it all in one turn. Last is the energy. I have 11 here. Like I said, if you play fighting, you probably cut it down to, you probably cut like 4 darks. No, you don't. If you play fighting, you go like, you have 8 darks, 4 darks. No, 8 darks for fighting or something. Or you might go to like 9 darks for fighting. But that, yeah, it's something like that. But definitely if you're playing just straight Darkrai, just all dark type, you want, I think 11's a really good number. 10's definitely too low. I can see getting away with 12. People want to be more conservative and stuff. So after all that, the base stuff, you're left with 7 cards, 7 slots. And I'll talk about what you do with these 7 slots. First off, for Pokemon, you can either add more Darkrai's, more Sableyes, more Tracheon, or add Tracheon or Landorus, whatever. So off the base skeleton of 3/3, adding a Sableye means you start with Sableye more often than you do Darkrai. It's a good starter, but that's about it. A 4th Darkrai means that if your Darkrai's prized, you can still get more set up. It's really good against the mirror to have all 4 out sometimes, so you can use them all. Tracheon, if you were to do that, you'd probably like have 3 Darkrai's, 3 Sableye, and then 2 Tracheon or something. And people have done that to like counter the mirror and stuff. It works fine. Like, it was good before the format, the new format. I don't know if it's changed much now. I personally just play straight Darkrai, but it's definitely a viable option. Onto trainers. The first one, we'll do supporters that you want to add. So if you want to add supporters, there's Skyla and Bianca are the viable ones. Bianca, if you add that, it's just more draw support, more consistency. Skyla, I definitely like this card in the deck, and I think there should be one, even though you do sometimes Random Receiver into it when you don't want to. It happens, but if you're playing like 11 draw supports and one of them Skyla, like, you still have a good chance of getting what you want. And I think it gives you so much versatility of getting your 1-ofs or getting whatever. I just like it a lot. I think definitely you want to add one more supporter, so you want to have at least 13 supporters. So it could be this or that, but I definitely think you should add one of them. Next, we'll go to Ace-Specs. Shiny cards, yay. So, beginning of the format, most people thought, Calm Search was obviously the best Ace-Spec, and every deck was playing it. In Darkrai, it's fine, but I think it is overvalued and it's overrated. Like, yeah, you could go like, oh, turn 1 Calm Search, and then, like, Junk Hunt, get it back, and then use it again, and then get Nut Start, like, turn 2 Night Spear, but it's not as good. Like, a lot of the time you're using it, like, middle to late game just to, like, get a Dark Patch or, like, get a potion. Like, it is good. It's never going to be terrible. That's the thing about it, is that it's never bad when you draw it, just it's never insane sometimes. Well, Gold Potion, it's more narrow in the sense that sometimes, like, turn 1 you have to discard it off Juniper or something, or, like, you can't, like, Junk Hunt it back right away. So it's worse there, but it definitely, I feel like in the mirrors and against matchups where it's like back and forth damage, like Mewtwo Wards and stuff, it's definitely really strong. I've personally played both for tournaments. Like, I started off with this, and then some other people I knew started playing this, and then I tried it, and it was good, but I've been back and forth. Like, I know people that still like Comp Search, and I think it is a real preference thing, actually, and like, this is going to be more consistently good, in the sense that it's never going to be bad. Well, this is more narrowly good, but better when it's good. I mean, obviously, like, if you only have one, it's not that big of a difference. Just play whatever one you have. It's not usually game-breaking. Moving on, I'll go to tools. So, like I said, 2 Eviolites, and then you can add more Eviolites to have 3 Eviolites, or, like, add a Dark Claw. Like, times I had counts of, like, 2 Eviolites, 1 Dark Claw. I've had 2-2. I've had just 3 Eviolites. They're all fine combinations. I definitely think you want one Dark Claw, because it's good against Blastoise. So you can go like 30 damage to the Blastoise, and then catcher it up, and then 110, knock it out. It's also good against normal Landuruses, normal Tornadus, normal Thundurus. Also, like, doing 30 twice to a EX with 170 HP, and then catching it up, knocks it out. It also negates Eviolites like mirror matches and stuff, which is good. But definitely, I think you want to add one tool. I just preference on which one you want. This one's better in the mirror. This one's better in general, I guess. Enhanced hammer, which you could add. I mean, you already have 4 hammer. You might as well add another hammer, right? It's fine. Like, the only decks it really works against is like Darkrai Hydreigons, and then like the Mewtwo decks, like the fighting decks or colorless decks, whatever they are. But I think it's fine as a one of. I've played it from time to time. I've taken it out and put it back in. I don't know. It's a preference thing on the format. Like, if you think there's going to be a lot of the Landorus, Mewtwo, Tornadus decks or whatever, then this is good. If not, you can get away without it. And then last is I don't know what this slot's called, but you want one of these two in the slot, where it's either Keldeo or Switch. It could be like multiple switches, but usually just one Keldeo. Because you want to have an out against paralyzed cards like Tynamo and Thunderfang, Raikou, and against like Excelgor. So like, because like your deck doesn't have any way to get out of that naturally. Keldeo is okay in the fact that you can use it over and over again, and that sometimes you can even use it as an attacker if you need to, but it is a Pokemon and you do start with it a lot, and it is a pretty bad starter, and like sometimes they'll randomly just snipe it off. Switch, it's a one-time use thing. It's less searchable. It's only searchable with like Comp Search or Skyla if you play those. But it's also good, like, there's more cases where you use it outside of being paralyzed. Like say they catch up something without an energy, hoping you can't like get an energy on it and then get energy to attack or something. You can like switch, surprise, or whatever. I've personally played Switch, but I've had people say like Keldeo's better. I personally don't know which one's better. It's just preference. So that's pretty much the deck, or that's the skeleton. Then those are suggestions for what you can add. Pretty much, like Darkrai. I mean, going back to like the deck, it's just super fast. It's super consistent. I think it's the most fast and consistent deck in the format right now. Matchups aren't terrible overall. Like I want to say that Blastoise is probably one of the harder matchups, but that one, Blastoise sometimes gets really slow starts, and you can just abuse them with that. The only thing it's really weak to, I guess, is like the mirror if they play Tracheon, because then they can like surprise drop Tracheon and you can't do much about it, but I haven't seen that come up too much. I mean, like I've said, I've personally done pretty well with it. I mean, I ran hot, but you know, I feel like I could have probably won all the events I played with it. Like I said, I lost in the mirror, which is fine. Like, it's gonna happen. And then the other one was a deck registration error, and I'm pretty sure I would have won the top 8 if I didn't make that deck registration error. And then I'm not sure about top 4. I think the top 4 was against Blastoise, so that would have been a close one, but whatever. So, guys, I hope you guys liked it, or I hope you like this format of like doing a skeleton and then giving you the options. Just thought, you know, it gives you more of a real idea about what the deck is like and what you can do with it. So, of course, comment, like, subscribe, all that stuff. And, yeah, see you guys around.